Okay, so this is another Toshiba that I got recently. It's another T3200SX, and as you can probably tell by the video, it's not in the best condition. Well, actually it is. The machine was in perfect condition, like just not even a scratch on it, but the display won't work, and I've tried fiddling with the usual things. I'm just not getting any video on the display, but the video card is working inside it. So yeah, I've got it to boot up on an external display before. It also needs a new CMOS battery. The result of this was it's basically become a parts machine. So I've taken the floppy drive out of it for the other machine, and the rest of it will be used basically to maintain my other T3200SX so that I can have one great one. Now of course, if I can get this display working, I will set this machine up just as a floppyless unit, as these machines will run fine with no floppy. But the reason I'm doing this video is this is a machine that I've been asked questions before, especially on disassembly, and so I'm just going to show you how things come apart and how it's supposed to work. So, keyboard is the same arrangement. Okay. Now down in here you do have 30-pin SIMs, and they're semi-proprietary, except for like one or two pins. They pretty much line up perfectly, but they're a bit like the IBM PS2. They're really picky. I did find a couple that did work by fluke, but yeah, once again with these machines I'd honestly recommend just buying them with the RAM already in them. Don't buy units that you need to upgrade. I'm sorry about the lawnmower next door, can't do much about it. Okay, so you got your 3 slots here, and there's 1 meg on board. So that gives this machine 384K of extended, I believe. If I remember correctly, you can use that 384K. It's more of the same. Yeah, ROM down here. That's where your Mathco Pro goes, and there's a 386SX16 down the back. So, when you're pulling apart this machine, the first thing you need to do is unclip the keyboard from the front. There's some screws underneath. Well, basically what you need to do is get the unit and just remove every damn screw you can find, and that includes the ones at the back. Just remove every screw you can see. If you can see it, it needs to come off. It's quite simple. The only trick is behind here, there's 2 panels that clip on, and the screws are hidden underneath. So you slide out those 2 panels, remove those screws, and put the panels somewhere safe, because it really sucks when you lose them, because the machine looks so much better with them fitted. Okay. So then once you've got your keyboard out, this can be a little bit tricky, especially the first time if the cables are in a certain way. You can't remove this display. Okay, it is soldered to the board, but you can work around it. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay, let's say we need to go for the hard drive here. What I'm going to do is lift the display, and then I'm going to rotate it to the right like this. Now the cable is quite strong. This machine had a lot of dodgy expansion cards in it, so perhaps the what's wrong with it is the cable's damaged from people doing this. It's quite possible. So this is the original hard drive. It's sitting down in here. You can see our little power connector, and there's our little actually, what the hell is it? That's interesting. I just noticed the loose cable down there, and it's right next to the display connector, and I'm wondering if it's going to work. We'll find out. I'll power it up for you. Okay, so this is your standard Stakona CP3044. Yeah, it's a common desktop drive. My other T3200SX has the proper model with shock absorbers and stuff on it. So I'm not sure if this is a replacement or it's original. I do know it works with the original settings, and well, no, it must be original because this had the old NetWare software from the early 90s when it was originally in production, and the WordPerfect software from when it went to someone's house. So I would suspect that's the original hard drive. It is standard IDE. Okay, now so for the floppy, this just has to rotate around this way. There is less room. Removing the floppy drive is a real pain in the butt. And I mean that honestly, because the whole time you're sitting in here with screwdrivers and you're trying to lean this thing up here, it's a little bit awkward. But this is the cheaper model, the T3200SX. So sorry, to the T5200. That's the proper model, T3200SX, or the SX ranges, are the lower cost models. They give you pretty much the same sort of performance, but it's not quite as good. So down here we've got our IDE connectors. This big thing, really, I think that goes into a, no, that goes into a little plate underneath the memory pack. Now someone made a very good point. They had to replace the CMOS battery and they needed somewhere to put it. Now in my one I put it between the hard drive and floppy drive. I got it to fit. These didn't quite fit, but this little memory bay back in here, now you can get to this underneath the machine just by unscrewing it. Perfect size for a 4IA battery holder, and the cord just comes up here, nice and neatly, and into that little socket there. I've removed the original battery from this so it didn't leak all over it, but that's how that works. Now, like the T3200, this memory module is separate from the machine and can be removed on its own. The really odd thing is that's also where the EEPROM is. So I guess if you're pulling it out for a service to upgrade the memory and change the EEPROM, you would unscrew these screw things with the keyboard lifted, pull back and up. Where the pull back and up doesn't quite work is there's not much room down here. But yeah, it's worth a try if you're getting in there. I'm just having a look around there. There's not much else to show. It's not terribly interesting inside. As for actually fully removing the motherboard, that could be quite a hassle. In fact, I'm actually not sure how to do it without cutting the display off, which is a bit unfortunate. I know this looks like a plug, but it does not come undone. I guess you could remove the power supply and work it down and just keep on twiddling the screen around, and then once you got this off, the screen would just stay with the motherboard. So is there anything interesting down the back? No. It's a little bit like the I/O module I showed you for the T5200, but it's only a single board, not two boards like that, so it's just a single board. But these machines are kind of neat. So I'm not going to put the hard drive back in because that's just pointless, because I'm not going to start it. But I just want to see, out of my curiosity, whether I can magically get the display going again. Maybe sometimes with these machines I find just the physical movement in the machine can re-secure a connection. So let's try this out again. I'm going to put our keyboard back. Now I haven't powered this up for a month, so fingers crossed. I'm not sure which way the power switch is on. We've got power. So you got the power LED and all the lights up there. Should beep at me a couple of times. But the thing is with these displays is when they power up they flash orange for a split second, and I'm really not getting any split second flashes. So now this is here, I am determined to play with that screen going to some point. So we're going to play the power. This actually doesn't need to be on here for the machine to boot. Although I believe, if I remember correctly, there is a little switch that tells the machine whether the display is active or not. And I may need to track that down. Because if that is down the bottom here somewhere. I have to get a voltmeter and actually test that little switch is working when I find it, because that could be essentially the problem. I'll just push that all the way back to make sure that's picked that up. Cable's nice and secure down there. Now there's big grommets in that there to protect the screen end, but down here it is kind of loose. So just kind of just move those cables around, not pulling them or doing anything silly with them. Make sure we've got power. That's connected in. Is there anything else to connect? No. So let's try the electricity again. And see if we can do something on the display. So our lights come up. A little bit brighter, but it could have been the light. But yeah, just absolutely nothing on the display. And now we've got, holding down the scroll lock key. But this machine actually is running. You just can't see it because the display doesn't work. Now I can't find an easy way to open the display to search for problems. That's a hard drive error. Without damaging it, and there's sort of no point repairing it if you're just going to break it, so it's better just to leave it as is. Because I have another T3200SX, one solution would be to take the screen off that one and see whether the problem is the screen or the motherboard. It could easily be the motherboard, it could easily be a dry joint or something like that. So I may need to pull that apart at a later date. For the meantime, I'm just going to slot this back in if I remove the power. There we go. Now this does sit quite nicely even unscrewed. And despite the hard drive that I just put back in, I'm not going to clip that down completely because I don't want to wear out those clips. But yeah, so that's inside the T3200SX. For anybody that wanted to know how they come apart, that's pretty much your answer. The only thing I haven't really shown you is where the screws are, but you should be able to find them. They're not hidden. The only two hidden ones are those ones on the back that you have to remove the little panels. Otherwise everything is completely obvious. Yeah, and there's the only clips I'm aware of on the whole machine are these two down the bottom by the keyboard, and usually you get your fingers into there and they come up quite easily. So you shouldn't have any problems. Maybe that helps somebody. Maybe you're just interested in the machine. I don't know. Got another video that actually shows my full running one, so you go check out that if that's of interest to you. But yeah, that's my dear edition. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks.